So, why should you join a given startup company? The approach I encourage people to take is look at it as an investor, right? Is this a company that you think is going to generate wealth for you? And I think there are three kinds of wealth that you should be looking for. You should be looking for first, well, financially, do you think this is going to be a good outcome for you? Because if you're going to go work for the startup, most likely you're going to be taking a hit in terms of current compensation as compared to working for a larger, more established company. Startup companies tend to be, starving for cash, and they also tend to be willing to pay back in the form of, say, equity, which means that your compensation is going to be strongly correlated with the probability of the company's success in the medium to long term. So, do you think it's going to go somewhere? The second question is, what do you think you get to learn as a result of being inside this organization? Now, one of the great things about working in startups is that often you get more direct access to senior management. This is a result of the smaller company and the fact that it's starved for cash, meaning that you don't have as many management layers and usually not quite as much professionalization as you do in a larger organization. Access to this more senior talent, and of course, being given work to do that you might not otherwise have been had the ability to do really drives up value. The third source of value working for a startup is going to be the improvement in your reputation. The fact that you worked at that particular company and that you also had that more senior level of responsibility relatively early on in your career. If you can put that to work in your next job, that helps you leapfrog up either from startup to startup as you go from a mid position to a more senior position. It could be helping you get a position in a larger institution that otherwise might have been looking for credentials, along the lines of, did you come from an Ivy League school or Stanford? Did you have you gone through, these paces? But the fact that you have worked in the startup in this relatively senior capacity because of, number one, which was the ability to learn, or number two, it was the ability to learn, is going to be something that drives a lot more value to the potential employer and de-risks you as a more senior employee, which then of course lets you have then the feather in your cap of having worked for some large tech company or finance company or whatever it might be, and then bounce back in startup land and just keep on leapfrogging up that career ladder. But the final way I would have you look at your relationship with the startup would be as you're looking for a seat on a rocket ship where you're helping build one of the engines of the rocket ship. If you think the rocket ship would do just as well without you, well, then you might reasonably ask, are you going to get the kind of value in these three dimensions I was talking about? Otherwise, you might as well just sort of put in, passive capital or something. But if you can contribute, if you can make one of those engines, if you can make that ship go faster as a result of your unique set of talents, you have something really magical in terms of an engine that will create value both for the company and for you, both in terms of your reputation, your education, and of course, your wealth.